Hi guys, so we have another training video. This retrainer, he came to us, I've had him a month now, just over a month, and he came with a big attitude. He, yeah, just kind of lost his way. He was good when his owners first had him, and it all just was going wrong. He's had some lameness issues, some bits and pieces. And basically, when he arrived, he was like a bull. I mean, he's a big lad, a really, really big lad. Wanting to walk all over the top of us, had absolutely no respect for us. And this is the problem that the owners were having. There was just a complete breakdown of communication between them with him. And I think, when that happens, that's where you kind of need to have a little think outside the box as to what's going on. And I know a lot of people feel that sending them away, they don't like to do it, but sometimes you have to take them away from the situation that they're in to be able to kind of just break that habit that it all kind of gets into sometimes. Everyone needs a bit of a break sometimes now and again, just to get away from those moments. So we've worked really hard with him. And when I say really hard, I don't mean physically hard. We've worked really hard kind of getting inside here. He went straight onto the Gastro Premier because I saw the videos, which I will attach to the beginning of this video as well, of what, things that he was up to, some of the photos. So it was all kind of, from what they said, I was like, right, if we're going to start him, then we need to just give ourselves a clean slate, give him every possible chance. Now, the gut supplements, they're brilliant. But, you have to work with them with everything else. It's not just about one thing working. It's about a combination of everything. And, that's how we work it. But we want to try and give them the best possible chance of chilling and being in the right frame of mind before we start any of the work with them, because if we haven't got them feeling comfortable inside, we're not going to have them right, and that's where we've got to get them if we're going to do our job properly. So yeah, it's another video that you'll see kind of the clips of how we've got on with him, and hopefully you'll notice the transformation, and fingers crossed we can keep going, because I'm absolutely chuffed with how he's come on. Really, really, I couldn't be prouder of him. He's completely changed. He's mellowed again. He really likes us now. I mean, when he first arrived, he just, he didn't care. He was quite happy just going to plough us all down. We were in his way. We were in his space. He had no respect for us. He didn't like us. He didn't need us. So we had to get him wanting and needing us before we could even start. And, that's do nothing but a little bit of kind of, chilling him out, getting some respect, and just, yeah, hopefully him deciding that we're actually quite nice. And that's not saying that anything's gone wrong with his owners like that, but what it is saying is that sometimes when they lose their heads that way, when the mind's gone, it's so hard to get it back. And you can sometimes feel like you're going round and round in circles and just getting nowhere. And it's a relationship breakdown. And, it's not always anybody's fault. It's just what happens. And so we have to kind of, have a little bit of a break and a reboot and go from there. And I'm really pleased with how it has gone. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video. And yeah, obviously if anybody's got any issues that they need any help with, then give us a shout. We have spaces coming up all the time, and this is what we do. This is what we're here for. We know thoroughbreds at the end of the day. We're not a vet, we're not a chiropractor, we're not any particular thing. We're a bit of everything. And I think that's why it works most of the time. So yeah, enjoy the video. So here we have him. I'm thinking that a lot of you who've got Racehorses and might have had some issues can relate to what's going on here. I know I certainly can. So you can see he's kind of walking around not very happy, tail's going, he's a bit cramped up, and it's probably how I described the crab walk. He's, yeah, twisting, bunched up, and probably feels like a complete coiled spring that is about to explode. And to be perfectly honest, I'd have probably got off by now. Because I know exactly where it goes and where it's going to, and it's not going to go anywhere that we actually want it to be. Um, and his owner here is doing absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, she's not asking any questions of him, really. She's just sat there seeing if he'll walk around the field. And you can see he is not happy. He's not having any of it. Um, and before anybody goes the whole, oh, well, it's probably got kissing spine and it's probably got ulcers and it's probably got this, they've had the checks done, and the majority of the time, as much as a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, we find that that's not the case. So here we go. You can see he's not having it. And she's just sat there really quietly. I mean, it's not hard for them to walk around the field, but he's uncomfortable, but not just in his body, it's his mind. His mind has gone. And when that's gone, there is absolutely bugger all that you can do with them, to be perfectly honest. And that's why I say, on days like these, just get off. You're not going to get anywhere. You're really not. And you can just see it's going to start spiraling out of control. He's actually been quite good. He hasn't lost the plot with her yet there. So yeah, just get off. Far safer and far better, because otherwise it ends up like that. And that's not a situation you want to be in. So, as I said, we kind of saw the videos, we knew what the situation was. So I've brought him down to the school to have a little mooch around and see what we actually have. And as I always say, we don't tend to lunge them before we get on them. I mean, at the moment, we do have, with a lot of the training horses that come into us, we do bring them down and put them on the lunge. But again, and you've probably got used to seeing me with the videos, it's not about lunging them hard in circles and things like that. It's about just allowing them to come in, to chill. It's a bit of a safer situation for me to be in. And it gives me chance to kind of work with them a little bit from the ground and be able to look and see what's going on. And I think it is really important that we don't do loads and loads of groundwork with them either. We don't. We just, do these little bits. We handle them nicely in the stables, in their routines, and we get a feel there. And you'll see I'm just kind of, he's walking on top of me a little bit, not badly, but I'm just like, go on, bit of personal space here. Just go on, you can move away from me, you can go. And he's actually looking pretty relaxed and pretty chilled. So it's a bit like another one. I'm going, well, he doesn't look too bad at all, really. But I've seen the video evidence. I know what he can do. I know that there's the attitude there. So yeah, he's been on the Gastro Premier from Premier Performance. And what we've done with him is we've given him a 30-day supply. And I just thought it was best. We had a discussion with the owner and I said, look, let's not mess about. Let's just get it into him. Try and kind of get him feeling a better place. And it's not so much that we think he's got ulcers. It's more to the fact that when they get so agitated and wound up like they do, it does affect their guts. And there's a lot of things that affects them. So we always just like to put them on a good gut supplement. And that's what we've done. And like I said, it doesn't suddenly mean that, wow, you're going to have the most amazing horse. You've still got to work at it. So look, he looks like he's being pretty chilled. He's just walking around, taking it all in. I've certainly had worse horses when we've started them off in here, and they've shown me a bit of attitude. And to be fair, he's not at all at the moment. Even when we tacked him up, he was actually pretty chilled. And I just went really slowly, putting his girth up just in case he was reactive. But no, he's been really good about it. I'm just letting him have a little nose around, so I'm not putting any pressure on him. I've left him on a nice long rein. I'm just walking around with him. As I say, I'm not asking him to go in any small circles and to, lunge properly. I just want him to move around freely in the school. Obviously on the end of the lunge line, so that he doesn't bugger off or do anything stupid. At least I've got some form of control, hopefully, if anything does happen. Oh, and there we go. And actually there it happens. So yeah, Maisie kind of runs behind me there because we weren't expecting that at all. You can see he's humping and off we go again. So something's going on there. And it's kind of now a kind of case of going, okay, so what's going on there? You can see how he's moving. He's moving, again, like a bit like a crab. He's very, very tight behind. He's very tight in front. He looks lame. It doesn't look good. This is day 2. After his little episode, we basically just let him have a little walk around and just let him chill. We didn't want to react to him. We didn't want to do anything else. We just kind of wanted to avoid any other situations. So yeah, this is day 2. And I thought it was quite important to bring him down into the school again quite quickly. Sometimes we'll give them a couple of days to process things, but I don't think he actually needed to process anything about the leaping and plunging on the end of the lunge rope with me the day before. So we come down and he actually again starts off really, really chilled. And it's one of those days where, this is quite important because it could go either way. He's either going to remember what happened yesterday and he's going to take that as a kind of bit of a bad experience, or the fact that we stopped and just kind of allowed him to settle and chill, a good experience. And fingers crossed, we're hoping it's going to be the good one. So he's just having a little nose at himself in the mirror there, which again is great. He's paying a bit of interest in what's going on around him, but looking pretty chilled about it all. So I am hopeful, and you've always got to be a bit hopeful in these situations with them. You see, we're just having a walk along, and I just gently try and ease him into a trot, and it goes really well. He actually stops and comes back to walk. So we have made progress, big progress, because after the explosions yesterday, that's really good. So you can see I've just gone up to him and I've made a big fuss of him. It's kind of like, I could have just carried on, but I thought it was really important to praise him and, just make him realise that he doesn't have to explode into everything. And, this is the thing, we try very, very hard to chill these horses out completely. And you can see there when he's trotting, okay, so he's not a big mover. He looks a bit scratchy, but it's slow, it's steady, it's sensible. And I always say at this early stage, when we're kind of working with the training, when they've had issues, I would much rather they be a bit backward, a bit trippy over their feet, just kind of falling along instead of powerhousing everywhere. I don't want to see a big moving horse at this stage. I just want to see relaxed and chilled. And I mean, the dog is hooning up around that fence line and he's not bothered in the slightest. He just looks at her as if to say, what are you doing, you stupid thing? Tail swish, not an issue. I don't read anything into that whatsoever. So what I'm trying to do now is just see if we can get the little head to drop a little bit. And you can see ever so slightly, he does start kind of dropping that head down a little bit more. And I've got nothing there to force him. I just kind of want to see where we're going. And he just falls back into walk. So I'm really happy. I don't ask for any more. I allow him to just relax and come into the middle of the arena with me. And again, when I go up to him, I just want to make a big fuss of him and just make him realise that things don't have to be stressful anymore. And he's turning into, hopefully, the horse that they had originally, a really sweet horse who is actually getting a little bit needy with us. And you know, that's kind of where you need them to be, literally. You need them to kind of want you to, for them to kind of come to you and go, actually, not too sure about this, is this okay? And then you go, yes it is, and they go, okay, that's fine, I'll try it. Instead of all guns blazing, where they're kind of, you know, the big guy that thinks that they can pull all the strings, and you know, he's calling all the shots and he's dictating everything to us. That's not what we want. So again, I've changed the rein with him, and he's walked off a bit like a donkey. He's coming in a little bit at me, and I'm like, no, come on, give me a little bit of space here. Off you go. And I don't want to go, you know, flicking the stick at him too much. It's literally just there to kind of encourage him to move away from me a little bit. And also, if he does start and he's having a moment kicking out at me, to be perfectly honest, I'd much rather have that between me and him than his back legs. But I don't think we're going to get that, because look how chilled he is. And actually, you know, the head's nodding. There's not a lot of tension. I'm like, come on, get out. I actually can't get him to move. You'll see there, he's kind of just fallen into that trot. There's not a lot of enthusiasm there. And I'm just allowing him to move around the school. You know, I just want him to open up and use the whole school himself, not feel that he's trapped on a circle, because I don't want that. He doesn't need to be going around in circles at this stage. He needs to be open and free and using the whole of the arena. And, you know, I'm just not asking for too much, just allowing him to kind of jog round at a nice, steady, sensible pace. That's all we want. We just want to work that brain, and for him to be happy, relaxed, no pressure. And then we, you know, it's the brilliant starting point. That's kind of where they need to be. And fallen back into walk, just allowing him to just kind of mooch along a little bit. You can see his little ears are pricked, and you know, he's very aware of everything. He's dropping that head as well down. And then I'll just gather him in. What a good boy. Oh, and just make absolutely loads of fuss of him, because he's been brilliant. He's been so chilled. You can see him there just standing quite happily while I take everything off him. I think he's even resting his back leg, and he's just so relaxed. I mean, I haven't got him on the lunch rope there, and he just comes over. I love it. These are the bits that you realise we're on the right track with them. You know, we've got a chance here of getting him sorted, and it's so lovely to see them kind of change, progress, relax, take a breath. So yeah, really pleased with him. I couldn't have asked for any more.
Hey mate, enjoy that.
So this is us just walking back.
Good boy.
Look how relaxed he is.
Mr. Gerald. Mr. Gerald.
And you can see, you know, he's soft in his neck, he's soft in his eye. So we're down in the school for another day. You'll have to excuse my videoing. I'm trying to hold my phone while kind of encouraging him to move around the school. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit hit or miss as I kind of try and video there. So this is all about building up to us getting on. And what I want to do is, you know, allow him to have a canter in the school on the end of the lunge line, so that one, I can kind of see how his reaction is. There we go. It's actually really quite chilled. I mean, he just breaks back into trot, so it's perfect. Which tells me that everything that we're doing right. We've got him in a good place mentally. You know, he's completely chilled out here, which is, you know, really good. I mean, it's a bit hard because I'm actually like trotting around the school with him, because like I say, I don't want to be stood just in a circle making him work on a circle there, because that's not what this is all about. It's about allowing him some freedom in the school, some freedom to kind of see how he feels. You know, I don't want to pin him down or anything like that. I just want to see how he is when he's moving forward himself. You know, that from trot to canter, is he going to explode? Is he going to rush? What's, you know, where are we at with him? So we just changed the rein. Again, give him a little leg stretch on this rein, see if I can get him into canter again. And, you know, just check that he's happy on both reins with it. He struck off onto the wrong lead there, but that's absolutely fine. You know, he went into it nicely, no explosion. He's corrected himself. And look how chilled he looks. Oh my God, I'm so proud of him. You know, for the bolshy horse that turned up to what we've got now, where he's lost so much of that attitude. But he's happy, you know. I mean, he's jogging away there nicely, and he's just in a different place now. And that's where we've got to be. We've got to be in a good place before we even attempt to get on him. Because if we get on him when he's in a bad place, what's the point? We're gonna, you know, it's all gonna go horribly wrong before we even get started. So really pleased with how these sessions just had a little stumble, bless him. But really pleased. So today's the day we're going to get on. It's a nice day, it's calm, there is a breeze which kind of we ummed and ahed about whether or not that might affect him, but we thought, okay, let's go down into the school anyway and see how he reacts. He looks so chilled out. I mean, trotting away there, he just looks so relaxed. And so he should be. If we've done everything right for him, then, you know, a bit of breeze today shouldn't be a problem for him. So the plan is, Ellie's going to get on him, but I'm just, you know, bringing him into the school and just letting him have a stretch around as I have done over the, you know, the last week. And you can see he's really kind of starting to stretch out there, which is so nice to see. And it's all really positive with us wanting to get on today. So that's absolutely great. What I've done is I've kept him in my saddle that I've been working him in the whole time. Because as I say, you know, we don't want to change too much. We don't want to make a big deal out of it when we get Ellie on. And it's really important as well when we're, you know, doing these horses that it's great for me to be able to get the girls involved, you know, kind of for them to be able to get on them and get a feel for them in the way that we train them now. And so, yeah, that's what we're kind of leaning towards a bit more. You can just see me running along with him then, just encourage him into the canter, which he's just cantered beautifully there, so happy. So anyway, just going back to that, this will be, you know, really good for Ellie to get on him. I want her to feel kind of the things that I felt in the past, how we work with them. And this is, you know, where I want to get with the girls at the moment, because it's great, you know, gosh, me doing it, but I want to be able to teach everybody else too. And it's great for the horses that, you know, we can show how much they progress. And it's so hard. It is so hard, but it's so rewarding for us. So again, I'm just kind of following him along and just letting him have a little jog here. And he's just so chilled, so chilled. And it's so lovely to see. And it's great when, you know, everything does come together. There's, you know, he's just enjoying it. Whatever caused the issues in the first place with him, for whatever reason, why his head just became a bit of a mess and he just couldn't deal with things, we've managed to unravel all that, and fingers crossed, oh bless him. So yeah, as I said, it was a little bit breezy. It gets quite a lot of them, that banner. As they go past that direction, it does flap a little bit. So to be fair, I've gone over to him and I've gone, look, you know, nothing to worry about there. Because obviously him having a little spook, he's gone, oh. So it's so important for me to go over to him and say, no, not a problem. We don't make a big deal out of it. And the reason why we don't make a big deal out of it is because if we did, he'd react to it. So what I've done then is just allow him to go past it again. No issues whatsoever. I mean, it might be that the wind didn't blow as well, but equally, had I made an issue out of him spooking at that, he'd have gone round the next time and probably done it again. And it's all those little things that we have to think about when we're doing this training with them. So we're ready to get on. And Ellie's on board. So what we're doing is just, you know, we got on at the mounting block. I didn't have the camera on while we were getting on because I was so busy just trying to, you know, chat with him. And that's the whole point of what we've done. I've stood there with him, I've walked away, and now just kind of I'll stand in the middle of the arena, as I have done while he's worked around me, and just leave Ellie to start riding him. Now, sometimes we kind of ask them to slow a little bit, ask them to quicken. Every single horse that we start, they're not started exactly the same. It's kind of the similar process, but how we ride them is very different because we ride them all as individuals. So as you can see there, he's kind of got the neck out. He's just having a little look around. He's nearly falling over his own feet. So what I want Ellie to do is to ride him a little bit more forward. And quite often when we've had these really kind of horses that have got quite a bit of attitude, we've had to slow it all down and slow the pace down, which is probably what you saw when we did the video with Narco, and we slowed everything down for him. We didn't want him to rush. Now for King here, I want it to go the other way. I'm actually saying to Ellie, now come on, ride him forward. I want you to ride him a little bit more forward. We need him to be thinking forward the whole time. As Narco, I needed him to be thinking a little bit backward. So this is where it gets really interesting when I say that, it's not easy, because we've really got to figure out what each individual horse needs. So there, and now I'm just saying, if you just kind of see if he'll drop his head down a little bit, I just want him to concentrate on what we're doing. Keep his attention focused to the inside, not to the outside. And it's all about now trying to get him to actually listen to us. I want all of his attention focused on what we're asking him to do. So again, some of them we might only bring in here and walk. I've gone, go, let's trot, let's get him thinking forward. And as you'll have seen from that video right at the beginning, where he was napping, he didn't want to go forward at all. And I think that's it. It's so important for us to get him now to realise that it's actually something that he can enjoy again. So as we're just riding him along, I'm just saying, just try and focus a little bit on trying to just bring that head down slightly and just see if we can get him to concentrate on what we're asking him to do. And you can just see the head there is just bobbing away. He's not quite sure he's thinking about it. And it's kind of like, right, I feel happy that we can, keep asking a little bit for him. And perfect. He's let us in. And now it's a case of making such a big fuss of him. We've done it short and sweet. He's happy. And that is absolutely the main thing of what we need. We want him to have that really good first ridden experience with us in the school. It's like, what are you guys doing?